All right, let's kill it, man.
Let's do it.
You know how to do it. Hello and welcome to the How to Hobby podcast. I'm your host, John Power, joined by my fearless co-host, Sean Bennett, and we are here to continue bringing you the cheer through our soft skills series that we've been doing here. We call it the Triple S and we're bringing them. We've been bringing them for the whole first quarter of this year, which has been great. I think we've had some options to really dive into some things we haven't thought about in terms of hobbying, and it's been really fun for Sean and I. So we're continuing to push the envelope and figure out new ways to engage with you as the listeners. So thanks for listening, and we hope you're having a wonderful time wherever you are right now. We always want you to feel good. Tonight, we're going to be talking about our top negotiation tools, and this will actually be the last episode, spoiler alert, of our soft skills. We're going to close out Q1 with this and dive into a new series in Q2. So this is an exciting last episode here, episode 56. We've been in business here on the platform. How to Hobby Boys, welcome if you're new to the show. And Sean, welcome to the platform this evening.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, I'll welcome you too. I start to realize you always say, glad you're here, and I never respond to that. So I just want to say I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad that you're here too.
Well, thank you. I do appreciate that. A little bit of cheer to go on top of my cheer is always good, and it brings us all the cheer. Now we just need a beer.
We do. We do. We've got the water and the tea, but it's kind of late, so
it is.
we can do beer another
it's
time.
A weeknight. That's
true.
A non-negotiable for me.
I forgot about that. That's right.
So Sean, let me ask you right off the rip here. You saw our boys taking on the UConn, didn't you?
I sure did.
It has been a week. I cannot believe that SDSU, for those of you who are not into NCAA basketball, let's just let you know, Sean and I are SDSU alumni, and our team, normally they're just Mountain West Warriors, but this year they made it to the championship round, the final round of NCAA basketball in the Final Four conference. Wow, what a way to get there, Sean. I mean, you almost got to start from the very beginning. I know we don't have time, but let's go Aztecs. I mean, that was amazing up until last night.
Yep. Yeah, it was. They really capitalized on the buzzer beater feel. Basically before last night, the two games prior were, on the nose buzzer beaters of you're on the edge of your seat, just like, oh my God, is this really going to happen? I mean, this is such a big deal that I was getting emails from the college where they were like, we're celebrating, we're selling shirts, we're selling mugs, like get your swag now. I've got friends of mine from state who are posting on Instagram where they were flying to all over to, I think it was Houston, was where the last game was played.
Yep.
They flew out there for the game, just repping the Aztec love out there. It was really cool to watch. Our basketball team gets a lot of love, but they've never made it this far. I mean, like, it's a big deal when you talk about San Diego State. Most people know of it for basketball, but now a lot of people are going to know about it for basketball.
This is huge. I mean, we have just donned a new era. I mean, I was joking with my buddy, get ready for SDSU tuition to be, $100K a pop. I mean, this is like, I don't know what it is. I was just joking, but between the cost of living going up in San Diego as naturally as it does, and the fact that it's gorgeous, now people want to go to the school to be a part of the Aztec Nation. I mean, this is crazy. So what a moment to be alumni, Sean, for us. I mean, we don't get anything. We just get the pride. That's it.
Bragging rights. I mean, we didn't win, but we got damn near close.
That is true. And I mean, overall, it was a tough last game to watch for people that were a fan. But you know what? Hey, Monday nights, it's a slump anyways. Who cares?
Hmm.
I mean, like, we all feel it. We all feel it.
Yep, yep, feel it. I call it the Monday scaries.
That's right. The Monday scaries. I like that. I'm gonna go into work tomorrow, next Monday, saying that. Oh no, just no fear. Just the
Just
Monday scaries.
Monday scaries. It's all good.
So, and then Sean, additionally, I've got some big things going on. I got
Yeah.
the annual Whitney lottery results, and your boy's going back. And
Yeah.
I am. And I told you I have this big plan where I want to ride
Hmm.
from the lowest to highest. The problem that I've realized here is I need to be able to hike the mountain much faster. I need to be able to
Okay.
get to the top a lot faster because I'm not going to be able to handle the normal uh mule path up to the top. I have to go a more straight and dart to the top. Otherwise, I
Okay.
think my body's just going to shut down. So I have to take this route that I've never done. So anyway, it's called the Mountaineers route, and it's going to
Okay.
be a difference. So I'm having to prep a lot of different ways, and with that, I'm planning my first major training ride for getting myself ready for it, and it's going to be from here to Tucson, and I think I'm gonna summit a peak down there to try
Okay.
and get myself in the mindset. It's about 140 miles, 130 miles,
Okay.
and so anyway, I'm excited. I'm getting jazzed for. I was just riding the bike the other day. I was thinking, oof, I can just feel the gears turning. Spring is upon us, and I'm about to start putting in the work. This
Hmm.
is this is a good time.
This
So,
this is a perfect time to start those goals. Everyone always says like beginning of the year, right? Like start setting your year goals. I think that that's hard to do during winter, especially if you are an outdoorsy person, but maybe you live somewhere that you can't really enjoy the outdoors when it's that cold. But spring is the time where you can get outside. I mean, it has been beautiful weather in Southern California the last 2 days. Before that, it's been raining for like 3 straight months. But the last 2 days, I mean, I went inside of the beach and ate lunch yesterday. I mean, it's been
oh,
gorgeous. So this is a good time to tackle those goals.
perfect. So what's going on with you? Any things you want to go through before we dive into our
Yeah. So
skills?
the first one is just a big update for me. For the first time since I was 15 years old, I saw the scale drop below 240. Um,
Oh,
this is the first time weighed this morning, 239. I'm
you
down
are looking lean and mean. Now, let me
I'm
tell you.
down 24 pounds since I started this journey in February. And it's this is the lightest I've been since I was 15 years old, which is crazy to me to think about. So I just got to give
Man,
that update. So that's feeling good. And then if I have any local San
congrats.
Diego people listening, and you're interested in trying to help clean up, the local waters that we have here, I'm going to be volunteering at an event out in Mission Bay on Saturday, April 22nd. It's with the Backcountry Hunters and Anglers California chapter. They're going to be hosting it's part of the Creek to Bay cleanup that happens every year, and we're doing specifically Vacation Isle in Mission Bay. The cool part is that for every bag of trash that you pick up, it gets you an entry to win a special raffle prize from sponsors like Patagonia, Fish Pond, and more. And then
Ooh,
the second cool part, so the event starts at 6:30. We're not going to be picking up trash at 6:30, but at 6:30, for most of the morning, they're going to have fly casting. So fly fishing experts going to be there. So you can practice fly fishing. There are going to be opportunities to shore fish, fly fish, and kayak or stand up paddleboard fish. So they're going to be running these while they're doing the bay cleanup event. You can grab these rods and their gear and actually go fish and then come back
what?
and pick up trash and then go fish, then come back and pick up trash. And this goes from like 6:30 till 1 p.m. And it's just going to be back and forth. And you're trying to help clean up, but you're also meeting people and learning how to fish, which is my main goal in all this. So yeah, I'm really excited for it. Just meet some new people, hang out with some of the guys from California that I met up in Montana, and help clean up the bay. So I gotta do the shout out. If you're available, come down.
Well, get down there, clean up our beaches. We need it. I mean, this is big stuff. Thanks for being willing, Sean. And I hope that the turnout is good because, and you win some swag. It sounds like
Yes.
you have some major opportunities. I mean, Patagucci is runs you
It's not
quite
cheap.
the penny these
Yep.
days.
Yep. So we'll put the link in the show notes if anyone's curious and signing up for it.
Perfect. That's great. And what was the date on that?
That is Saturday, April 22nd. So in
All right.
2.5 weeks.
Perfect. Plenty of time to get engaged.
Yep, exactly.
So before we dive into our amazing content on the evening, we're gonna walk through how you get in touch with us and let us know if you're enjoying the show or not enjoying the show, which is very important. You need to have both sides of the coin, and we welcome both. First, if you want to get in touch with us directly, you can reach out to us at our Gmail account. We have a Gmail, howtohobbypodcast@gmail.com. That goes right into Sean's Neuralink. He got it installed last year. He was on the beta program and it's still okay. So no real issues, right, Sean?
Yep. Nope. Still good. I get Wi-Fi on it. I
Still
can
good to receive.
Yep. I even get radio signals. It's great. I
That's
can sit
great.
and listen to Rock 105.3 and I don't have to be near a radio. It's great.
Perfect. It's great to be you. We have a website as well, howtohobbypodcast.com. And that's the best place to see some things we got going on. We're building out the website. Sean has a blog post on there. I have a lot of things in the hopper that I'm still cultivating and curating for you guys, which I'm really excited for. And we do have a Twitter and Instagram as well at How to Hobby Podcast. We've been ticking up the amount of content we've been putting out on the Instagram to try and get more engaged with the listeners and people in our community. So follow us there if you'd like. And then wherever you're digesting this content, please subscribe, follow, and if you wouldn't mind, give us a 5-star review. That would be appreciated. Even if you just are feeling like I'm not in a generous mood today. 5 stars are always welcome here at our platform. So thanks in advance, and thanks for listening tonight or this morning or whatever time it is. But without further ado, we're going to dive into tonight's negotiation tools. This is so important. This is something that we do all the time. And Sean and I were talking about it before the show, just kind of getting jazzed about how this really is an ongoing. It's not like we're talking in terms of going down to the corner market and haggling for an apple. You know, this is more than just monetary trade. This is something that you're constantly doing through communication in either your community and your families and your vocation, i.e. job, or doing the actual things like trying to get goods and services. And I think today, what I see more consistently in my own life, Sean, I don't know if you agree, is I'm usually working through service negotiations quite regularly, with the outcome being you're going to pay some money. But first, it's just, this is the services we have to offer. Are you even interested in that? And so, yeah, we'll dive into, some of our failures, our triumphs that we've had in the past. And really, hopefully, the goal, of course, is to bring you guys value. So if you're new and you've never even thought about negotiating, even consider it a skill that you need to consider, then welcome to the table tonight. And if you're a skilled negotiator, I still think you're going to be able to find some value here. So please feel free to reach out to us after the show with any thoughts regarding any of the content we spill out tonight. And we're really hoping that this is not toxic waste to you. This is going to be a really high quality spill of information. So, Sean, let's dive and walk through our keys to success when it comes to negotiating. And then we can walk through the format we've been doing over the last couple of weeks.
Yep, let's do it. Okay, so to start us off, I think it would be helpful to read the dictionary definition of the word negotiate, because I think it can come sometimes tied with so much emotion when people think, like you say, monetary negotiation, but really it can be so many different things. So from Merriam-Webster, The main
Mm.
definition of negotiate is to confer with another so as to arrive at the settlement of some matter. So, and that's an intransitive verb. Transitive verb, to deal with, to arrange for or bring about through conference, discussion, and compromise, to transfer, to convert into cash for the equivalent value, to successfully travel along or over. So negotiate is a very broad term, and it basically means having a discussion with somebody to solve some matter, whatever that may be. Could be pay, could be something else. So that is such a broad topic that it applies to so many areas of our life, and that's what makes negotiation skills so important, is they can mean everything from getting a good deal in a car to navigating a tough moment with your spouse, and having to come up with ideas. So the first key to success that we're going to talk about is preparation. This is very important going into a negotiation which you can plan for. This is big when you're talking monetary negotiations, car dealerships, having discussions with your significant other or even friends. You're trying to negotiate where you want to go to grab a beer. Having some preparation ahead of time is really, really key, because it means that you, one, are going to lead to more confidence, which is our next key of success. You're more confident in your choices and what you want to do. But it also means when someone starts asking you questions to validate what you're saying, or they start pushing back on it, you can be prepared to have things to talk about. And so that's why preparation leads directly into confidence, which is also key with negotiation. Is you have to stand behind what you're negotiating for. You have to be willing to back it up, have a knowledge base behind it, have good reasons of why you want it, and then that will lead to confidence. That comes from preparation and leads directly into confidence. Now, I think there's an aspect of confidence, and I know, John, you wanted to talk about this, that you don't want to be too confident, but you do want to be confident enough that you're okay to. And what do you want to do? What are you okay to do,
I'm
John?
okay to walk away, listeners. This is a big part of the process of leading with confidence, because sometimes you need to take a moment to think through maybe what has happened, and it's okay. Don't feel the pressure. I think the biggest thing, if somebody's trying to get a leg up on you in negotiations, it's usually they're trying to put the hammer down too early, and you're feeling like you're trapped or you're in a pinch. So don't be afraid to walk away and say, I just need to take a moment to assess the situation, really think this out, write it out, get whatever way that you learn or think through things mentally in a productive way. Again, we don't want to go down the anxiety slide. We want to come out of the negotiation, the first round, second round, however many rounds it takes, with the ability to always say, hey, I just need to take a little bit more time. And there is a balance there. And I think as you dive into this and you continue to pursue this in your life and see it transpire in various ways, whether it be a job or through a service negotiation, or like Sean said earlier, a car deal that you're working through, whether it's used or at a dealership. And all of these things, what's so fun about negotiations as a soft skill is there are so many ways that this can take root and form in your life. So you can constantly tool this and really enjoy the process of seeing yourself grow and gain more confidence. And you're not always going to be able to prepare, but when you can, yeah, I mean, we've talked about a number of sources in the past, like YouTube, that is a great one for really finding all sorts of negotiation ammunition, is what I call it, because if you're going into a car dealership, be ready. I mean, it's just a no. And Sean can talk more about this. He's actually bought a car from a dealership. I have yet to even do that. I'm so far just a used guy. I go used, and even that can be a little bit scary and fraught with pitfalls if you don't have the right team. But again, I think that's one of my key success is actually knowing and being able to assign the key players when you need them as well. Because to be able to negotiate and get quality deals done, you need to have a good team. So start to think in terms of that as well. defining your connections, building your Rolodex in your mind of connections. And I'm, again, that is very broad. And I'm leaving it intentionally broad because I think if I need a plumber, then it's very clear. Oh, well, I better get some connections regarding plumbing since I am a homeowner and I need to be able to have a few different options. And that's the thing is, right, it's not just a single one. You always want to have backups. So, and that can really take root in a lot of ways. So connect and make sure that you're learning how to establish connections in a efficient way. It's very important. And that's another thing, part of this, sub part of this, that if you want to learn more about communication, dive into our prior episodes in this series. I believe it was episode 54 or 53 regarding our communication tools. That's going to give you a lot of the ammunition on how to connect well, or at least start a baseline. So yeah, that's one of mine. And then again, clear communication is something that is necessary when you're talking about negotiating a deal or any type aligning with that definition from Webster that Sean brought out there. Without clear communication, neither party knows what the other one wants.
Yep.
And so you need to be willing to come in with confidence and communicate clearly, or somebody's going to get their feelings hurt or burned. And ultimately, you both want to feel like you won something. I mean, that the best deals are done when both parties leave feeling lifted up. Now, again, maybe there's one that's higher on the seesaw than the other. That's usually the way it goes. But hey, we all want to end up with a good feeling at the end of the day. And there are ways to do that. So yeah, those are our keys to success here tonight, just to lay the table. And now, Sean, if you have anything else to add, feel free. After that, we're going to dive into our current favorite tools for negotiating.
Yeah, and I'm gonna jump straight into the current favorite tools. I think you did a fantastic job of working through the keys to success. Those again are preparation, confidence, be okay to walk away, clear communication, and connect with the person that you're negotiating with. So
you did a great job too, Sean.
Thank you. See, clear communication, guys. It works. I promise you, it works. So I'm gonna start. I've got two stories tonight that relate to my current favorite tools. One which was a wild success, and one which was a wild failure that taught me something. The first one I'm going to start with is pairing back to the last key for success that we talked about, is the connect with the person. This is something that I didn't personally do, but I got to watch somebody that I look up to show me how to do this. So I don't know whether it's a generational thing or a Southern thing, but my grandparents love to go to pawn shops. I mean, it is their jam, are pawn shops. Every time you go into town, anytime you're traveling, it's pawn shops. Even when they came out to San Diego, first thing they wanted to do is, what pawn shops can we go to? They live for that negotiation, that haggling, that they're going to get the best price on something. It's so much fun to watch. When
wow,
the story I'm going to tell tonight is from last November, when I went out to stay with my grandparents for a bit. Out in Arkansas. My grandpa and I are both really into guns, and so he said, "Hey, do you want to go into a gun convention that's happening in town? It's about an hour and 15 minutes away. It'll be just the two of us." And I was like, "Absolutely, sign me up." And so,
let's go, Grandpa.
Let's go. So we drive, an hour and 15 into town, and it was awesome. The gun store is really cool. Wonderful talking with the guys there. Well, we're already in town. And so, of course, Grandpa goes, "Hey, you want to go hit some pawn shops? Maybe we can find some ammo or some guns." And
wait, how many pawn shops they have in this town?
Dude, I'm telling you, it's got to be a Southern thing. We went to four. We went to four separate pawn shops in Hot Springs, Arkansas. I mean, it's not like
all right,
gigantic. It's Hot Springs.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun going through them. A lot of old, used gardening equipment, farm equipment, DVDs, guitars. My grandpa was specifically looking for guns and ammo because that's who he is. And generally it's,
guns
you
and
can
ammo.
sometimes get good deals. And we went into, I think it was the third third pawn shop, we'd been unsuccessful, and Grandpa stumbled across a box of shotgun shells that he wanted, and he wanted them bad because he hasn't been able to find these shells anywhere else.
This is
And
great.
so he didn't tell the person how badly he wanted it, because again, my grandpa's an expert at negotiating when it comes to pawn shops. Didn't convey how badly he wanted it. I didn't even know until we got in the truck, and then he was like, "Do you know how amazing this is?" And he was like a kid in a candy store. But
Do you even know how amazing this ammo is?
I noticed after the fact, before he even started asking about price, he started telling a story to this kid that was working behind the counter about the hunting he used to do with his dad, and this particular shotgun and these shotgun shells. And all of a sudden this kid is starting to tell stories about how he would go hunting with his dad, and he's really into guns. And then my grandpa would loop me, and yeah, he's from California. I'm bringing him out here. We're trying to introduce him to stuff. And we spent a good 2 or 3 minutes just talking about connecting with each, or just talking about life and connecting with each other. And then Grandpa whipped out the "will you take?" because it had a price tag on it, but at pawn shops you can haggle that down. It was wild to see how quickly he switched into the, okay, now I'm in a negotiation with you. Let's talk about price. And I noticed that because of the connection that he had built with this kid, it was a normal
Wow.
conversation. Didn't feel like business. It was, yeah, let's do, I really want to shoot these guns. So how much will you sell this ammo to me for? And that was so
Wow.
cool to watch from someone who felt so uncomfortable in the situation, because I'm so new to pawn shops, that the idea of haggling was kind of intimidating to me. And just watching this my grandpa just unleash in this pawn shop of using stories and relating to this kid, and then hitting him with that, "will you take this amount?" which was way lower than what was on the box. They ended up working up towards it, but I mean, he got such a fantastic deal on this box of ammo that we got in the truck. He was like a kid in a candy store. And this really showed me that taking the time to connect with the person that you're having a conversation with, and connecting with them on a personal level, if you can, about the object itself, means that there's now emotions tied, and they're more willing to listen to you, to accept that you're not willing to pay them as much as they originally wanted. Okay, I need to come down on price. It was just really cool to see that, going, man, I am in awe of this guy who, just with a couple of stories saved himself $25 based on
Yeah.
what this guy was originally going to charge him. So,
Cash though, right? Not card.
correct.
See, I feel like
Correct.
that's the problem with our generation. Or then we pull out the card and we're like, "Oh, do you
Yep.
do you take Visa?" And they're like, no,
No.
I don't. Where's your cash?"
Yep. 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 Everything is cash out there. It was just really cool. And that is something that I'm working on building into my negotiation skills, is taking the time first to connect with the person I'm talking with, and then working my way towards the business, building the relationship, then move to business. And this applies to relationships, figuring out where we want to go to dinner, and we're negotiating, I want to go here, I want to go there, and you're trying to figure it out. Like, this is so important of an aspect to play. So props to Grandpa for showing me, connecting with a human is incredibly important when negotiating.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's huge. And I really love that story. I'm glad. Thanks for sharing that, Sean. I think the listeners will feel the warmth in that story, and I think that's important as well. You did a great job connecting with the listeners tonight. So, or at least connecting with me, I should say. So hopefully the listeners feel connected with. Yeah, I'll talk through one of my favorite tools right now is actually talking to my wife. And the reason why is because it keeps me from making those breakneck decisions that I kind of talked about earlier when I was talking about being okay to walk away.
Hmm.
Now with where I'm at, it's kind of almost like a get out of jail free card, especially if I'm not happy with where the negotiations are going.
Yep.
And this actually just happened to me over the last weekend. I was negotiating everybody's favorite thing, which is internet rates. And so with Cox Internet, listeners, for everybody who's new and for those who don't currently have to pay for internet, I just enjoy that blessing. But right now, your boy is having to every year or so many years negotiate the rates. And let me just tell you this up front, because a lot of people don't know this. And I have talked to people that are unaware that you can actually get internet cheaper than what they say. When you go online, they show you the bare minimum, right? And there's usually a promo associated with that. But again, when we're talking about something like internet, it's a switch, listeners. It's not they can pull that down. Now, again, you can only go so low before they don't make any money, but they definitely have variance on that. And I would say it's always worth a call. And I learned that from one of our good friends, or got, not that I learned that, but got continually reminded of that by our old coworker Nika, who would consistently call and make the connection and go the distance to get what she wanted out of a deal or a service. And so I think it's always important to try when you can. Now, recently I was negotiating with this guy at Cox, and my rate was actually going to jump from $60 to $90. So we're talking about a $30 increase in rate. And
I mean, like 50%. That's a huge increase.
Oh, huge.
From your original bill.
And that's what it should be. On paper, it's a 90, right? So I came into the family getting a promotion, which you should always always get a promotion, listeners, in everything. But my year was up. All right. So at the end of the year, you can call, there is such a thing as the Cox Loyalty Fan Club hotline.
Yep. Sirius XM has the same thing. I've done the same thing.
Oh, it's great. So just go right to just go on the phone, and you got to know the keywords to say, but you just say, hey, I want to talk to the loyalty. So I was talking on day one. This is the first day of negotiations. And the guy wanted to, now again, you don't always know what the incentive is for the salesman on the other line. This is the other thing. You got to be willing to lean in and listen so that you can get a good idea of what knob they're trying to turn. Yep. And I've noticed with Cox, Sean, and I don't know if you've noticed from some of your internet providers, because I think we're on separate service providers, I think they get a bonus of some kind if they get you to rent equipment from them. That's what I was picking up on.
I can see that because they push that so hard.
They push it so hard right off the rip. So this guy, he was knowledgeable. Right off the bat, I was getting, this guy's knowledgeable and he knows what he's talking about, but he would not budge on he's like, you can do this, or you can go down in price, down in service for like a very similar price. And he packaged me up this deal that was less than 90, but only by $15. And he was trying to get me to rent the hardware. And he spun the story that my hardware isn't good, and I need new hardware, or I'm not going to be able to.
Classic, your thing is outdated.
That's right. I'm on an old now, and very well might be true, but it's not broken. It's still working. Yeah. So it's not that it's. So again, be careful. And so I wasn't happy with the way it was going. And I told him, he laid it out and he gave me 3 different options. I took out my notepad immediately and was jotting down in real time. Because again, you want to get your story. You want to take your time, get the difference. And at the end, I just wasn't happy. And I almost made a decision, Sean, that day. And this is the thing you got to be careful about, listeners. I almost left my tier of internet and went to a lower tier right on the spot. And I guarantee you, Sean, that if I would have done that, it would have been harder to jump back up to that tier.
Yep.
So that's the thing. Be careful, because don't make a decision too quick, or you can be, and here we go. So I pulled out my favorite tool, which is, I said, hey man, thanks so much. I really appreciate, and be respectful, listeners, be respectful of the person. I wasn't happy with what he was putting down, but I still was grateful that he was giving me options. And at the end, I said, hey man, thanks. I don't want to rent stuff from you. And I wasn't buying the fact, because that was the other thing too. In my mind, I was going, if I'm renting and it's $15 less, then that means I could technically get the service to be even less than that. because he
Yep.
had something baked in there. And I asked him multiple times. I said, can we just, I don't want to rent. Is there something lower than that in that tier? He said, no, right now you can't. And he spun some story that he couldn't do it because my software was too old or something like that. Well, get this, listeners. I called back the next day and I tried a different person, because you get a different person every time.
Mhm.
This is the important. I laid down my talking with my wife tool. I said, I'm going to talk to my wife, man. Talk to her. And it was just good to run through everything, right, with her. And we came to a decision. The next day, I ended up talking with another person. And this time I came in saying, I want to get this. I would like to pay this amount of money for the service. Can you do that for me? And she got a deal that was $10 less, 80. So it was $80 this time instead of 75 with me renting. So I knew that wasn't a good deal. So I said, oh, okay, thanks, but no thanks. And I hung up. Later that day, I call again a third time. And this is my third call. And at this point, I was set. I said, you know what? If it really comes down to it, where all I can get is 15 off and I have to rent, then that's going to be the best deal, because that was the best overall monetary deal to stay in the tier we wanted.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, it was still $15 less than what we had to pay at the end of the month anyways. So, all right, it makes sense. Call, and I get the right person. She was super nice. And she said, the guy on the first day sent me quotes. That's the other key. Get quotes if you can, listeners. So I had a quote generated from what he was playing with.
Smart.
I gave her the quote number at the bottom, and she pulls it up. And because she was not trying to make the incentive sale, she was just trying to please me well, I mean, again, you have good cop, bad cop all the time. And she pretty much laid down, oh, looks like he had a rental unit on this quote. But if I take that off, it's going to be $59.99, what you were paying before.
Stop it.
And I went, that's exactly what I want to hear today. Thank you so much. And she was like, yeah, isn't that great? That's what you were paying before. That's so awesome. And I went, bing, thank you. We got a deal, and hung up. And that was the negotiation win of the weekend. And so now we're back to cheap internet, same baseline, no going up. And it's for 2 years. So let's go. It was a win.
Dude, that it trumps any of the negotiations I've had lately. That is really cool. Definitely the due diligence was required. And I think that's the number one lesson to take away from this, listeners, is how much work John put in so that he could save that money. Because you're like, oh, 60 versus 90. Like, come on. Like, this isn't that big a deal. Like, it is whatever. In reality, if it's a 2-year plan and you just saved $360 a year, you just saved $720 by making 3 phone calls. Those 3 phone calls are worth $720. That is crazy to think about, that you put that work in up front and you saved yourself that much money on the back end. That is smart business.
Well, thank you. And I've been doing this one, the old internet negotiation scheme, for a number of years now, ever since I got married. But yeah, listeners, it's possible. So again, you don't always get what you want. I was on the verge of not. I was only going to say 15. I wasn't going to get where I thought I could. But again, you get the right person and bing, let it sing and take in the winnings, because and I didn't even have to go to the casino to do that. I just did it right there on my phone, and no bet required. So yeah. Yeah, some of our failures, Sean. Do you have? I think you said you have some not so ideal negotiation that happened.
Yeah. So coming off that high of that win for you, I've got to tell the listeners a story of what happens when negotiation goes wrong, and I didn't know enough on how to back out of a deal. So this is going back about 8 years. So I'm in college. So picture this: I'm in college, very little money. I'm with a date, and I decide I'm going to spend what little money I have, and I'm going to go to the Del Mar Fairgrounds, which is a big thing in San Diego. Every summer, you go to the San
Right.
Diego County
The
Fair at the Del Mar
best.
Fairgrounds. Okay. So I am taking my date. We're walking through the park. We're having a great time, getting ice cream, riding a couple rides. And then this dude comes up and he's
Uh-oh.
got a booth and he says, "Hey, can I talk to you for a minute?" Sure. What do you got? I'm selling tickets to basically they're vouchers for paintball. Do you like paintball? Well, yeah, I love paintball. Okay. These are vouchers that you can use. I will give you a discount today, and you can use them for getting deals on going to different paintball parks. And it gives you packages, right? Where your rental, the paintball gun rental, the paint,
Oh yeah.
and the face mask, right? That's covered free. You just have to pay
Yep.
entry to the park. And I was like, okay, this sounds like a great deal, what's the catch? And we were going through and he was telling me more about it, getting me hyped. And then he hit me with it's $85. I'll give you, I don't remember, it was like 15 of these coupons for $85. And this is where my current tool that I'm working on now didn't exist back then. And that is how to manage my emotions effectively in a negotiation. And this is something that as I've gotten older, I've gotten a lot more skill at, a lot more of the public speaking and dealing face to face with people. The managing my emotions is key now. But back then, I struggled with that. And so I was dealing with so many emotions. I was excitement because like, yes, I get to go paintball, I get to get deals. I'm dealing with frustration because I don't have enough money that right now. I shouldn't be buying this. And then I was also dealing with anxiety of if am I making a good or a wrong call, trying to get this guy, for some of this trying to get him to go away, some of those trying to just, buy it from him. And I'm in front of my date. I'm trying not to look like a fool. And so all of this is playing in my head, and I'm doing a terrible job of managing all of this. And so I trying to get him to go away, not working. I'm like, no, I'm not interested. He keeps pushing it harder and harder, telling me about all these deals. And I did the one thing that we've talked about before that you need to do is I wasn't okay to walk away. I was like, oh
Mm.
man, this is too good of a deal. I need to buy it. And I did. And I spent almost all the money that I had at that time on these paintball tickets. And I felt like a freaking king. I was walking around the park with these tickets in my bag. The girl I was with, she was like, "Yeah, you did great." John, what do you see in my hand right now? These are those
I think I
same,
see some pictures. Are
these
those
are,
paintballers?
oh yeah, oh yeah.
Are they balling
Yes.
out?
They are balling out. These are the unused, never even touched them, sitting in my drawer still 8 years later. That
God,
I
I
never
think we
used.
need to go paintballing.
I think we do too. I need to make sure that they're even still good. But it was just a lesson in being so overwhelmed by the situation of what was going on and not being willing to say, "Hey, I need to walk away. This isn't okay." I got too caught up in my interest and yeah, it was a mistake. So I hope that the listeners take from this that uh it's okay to make mistakes. It's totally fine. I'm still here to this day, but there are definitely lessons to be learned from the mistakes that we've made. Coming from this, I know for a fact I need to be more stern. I need to be willing to be more confident. Going back to the keys to success for negotiation, I was in no preparation. I was not confident in the choices I was making.
Well, it kind of
I
blindsided you.
Yep, kind of blindsided me, and my communication wasn't that great back then, and I couldn't connect with this guy at all. And so I was failing on so many fronts that I eventually just said, "I'll pay for it to make him go
Leave me
away."
alone, man.
Exactly. And
I'm
and
trying to
so
hang out with my girl.
yeah, exactly. It was a huge failure. But coming now, managing my emotions in a negotiation of not only the being willing to walk away, but also the having a cool head, really assessing what's going on, paying attention. Does this sound too good to be true? Okay, give me the monetary value. If you're saying you're going to give me a discount at the park, tell me how much these tickets are worth. That'll help me determine is $85 or 80, whatever it was, still worth because it's, $5 per ticket. I'm getting 15 tickets. I don't know if that's really worth it. But if he's saying it's $20 a ticket, I'm getting 15 tickets. That's a boatload of money I'm saving. And so there's so many things looking back that I wish I'd done differently that I know moving forward I will. So yeah, my two current favorite tools, you've got connecting with a human that my grandpa taught me, and then the hard way learning to manage my emotions better in a negotiation.
That's great, Sean. Well, I think I'll say it. I think you saved some money for sure. And you won't know either way, but it sounds like you got a decent deal in terms of what it was, and you just
Well,
haven't used them.
the
So we got to,
company the company that they're from still exists. I just went to their website, so they might still be worth something.
oh,
I'm not
perfect.
sure.
Well, that's good. I think we're going to have to, maybe do an adult paintball
I would.
adventure, which would be
I
wonderful.
I did it for my 16th birthday, 17th birthday, 18th birthday. I was really into paintball when I was a teenager.
Well,
So
that's why you're so excited. I mean, dude,
exactly.
paintballing's great. I
It
still
is.
want a pro marker. I just have never gotten one. But I've wanted to buy one so many times,
Hmm.
so many times. So my final tool that I currently is my favorite, I'm calling going the distance. And it sort of relates to what you can probably see the strand of that in my last story. But this one was another one that happened in the last 2 years that I'm happy about. It's another win. And it was regarding my Apple AirPods that I had. And I had bought these on a deal. So again, here at the How to Hobby podcast, we're dealers. We're always trying
Yes.
to buy things at a deal, not at the high cost of retail value. And this way, in this case, I found on a Black Friday, because I wait for tech gifts or tech things I need to buy or want to buy. In this case, it's a Apple AirPods. At this point, they're maybe between a want and a need. I think
Okay.
I use them enough to validate them being potentially a need, but it's a nice to have thing. And so I was buying these at Black Friday and I got them. Now the interesting thing about them was they didn't last the full year warranty or whatever the
Okay.
warranty was. It was either 2 years or a year. I believe it was just a year. And I'm hard on my AirPods because I use them every day, but I keep them clean and I keep them, so like I take care of them. I just use them every day. At the year mark, I realized, oh, you know what? I bought these less than a year ago. Now, the interesting thing was there's like a tracking through the Apple interface that tells you if it's under warranty or not.
Okay.
And this warranty date did not align with my purchase date. And I was not going to take that, Sean. So I go the distance to Apple. And let me just let you know, listeners, get ready. If you're going to go the distance with Apple, you better get your boxing gloves on because these
Uh-huh.
people are not going to give you jack unless you're a part of their fan club. So get Apple Care is what I'm going to say up front here. And I'm not going to lie, Sean, I just got 2 brand new AirPods, brand new, no questions asked, off of this same win that I'm talking about tonight. So
Okay.
at this point, I'm up to 2. No, this is my 3rd pair of AirPods on the same purchase.
Wow.
And I have put a total of probably the retail price of 1 pair because I bought the Apple. She was like, oh, do you want to add the Apple Care? When I got my win.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sorry, I'm going too far. First, I had to go to Apple. You know what, Sean? The first time I went to Apple, I got nothing.
Mm-hmm.
They said, go online and talk to our service help desk. I can't do anything here, sir. I'm going, what? You're the Apple genius. You can do everything, whatever. I said, okay. I went back and I built my case. I went back and forth between the Apple store, riding my bike, listeners. I wasn't going to pay gas. I rode my bike back and forth, home to Apple store over about 2 weeks. And this was within the last month. I had about 3 weeks to make this deal happen before it actually did expire. And my purchase date, I'd be a year out and I'd be sunk. So I had a time frame that I was caught between. So if I went any more time, and that's how I really put the fire on them. I was like, hey guys, I bought these. I have the receipt. It shows that I'm within a year and you're telling me that I can't get this is not This is not okay. And they were saying, oh, well, the manufacturing date and the sale date don't align. And be careful, listeners. They're trying to pull some wool over your eyes, and you got to say, no, 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 no. I bought these at this date. That's when I received them. I don't care when you manufactured them. Nobody was using them. But they were trying to say they were manufactured a month earlier.
Of course they were.
It's just too much. So I finally got the right person in the Apple store. And this was like trip number 3, I think. And these are painful too, because you have to wait. You get an appointment and then you wait.
Yep.
And then they come out. So we got the win, listeners. And at the end, she said, oh, and she loved it. She thought this was the best thing. You know what happened? We connected. She saw me. I came in there with my spandex and riding gear and was standing there in the corner all sulking about my AirPods. And because I'm like, I have ridden my bike here 3 times in the past week and I'm tired of it. So she comes over and she goes, oh, you're the bicyclist, huh? And I'm like, yeah. Yeah. Can you tell? And I'm in full spandex in the Apple store. I stood out like a sore thumb. And the lady, she goes, oh, my brother, he loves riding his bike. He's so great. And I was like, yeah, isn't biking amazing? She comes over. I think she cut me some deal on this Apple Care because it was literally like, hey, do you want to add Apple Care for like $15? And I was like, yeah. And so right there, got it. And I've got that till 2024. I am going to get like at least 4 or 5 pairs of AirPods out of this deal. And it is the win, win, win. And it all was because I went the distance. Oh man, it felt good. And so that's my top my current favorite tools that I'm bringing you tonight. And both, they're kind of, it's all intertwined there, but go in the distance, listeners. Talk to your wife, your girlfriend, and go the distance. Simple.
It's perfect. It is as simple as you think it is, guys. Like, lean on the people around you, talk through what you're going through, and then, like you said, be willing to put the work in. I think that's where all of this comes from. Going the distance. You have to be willing to put the work in on a negotiation, no matter what it is. If you just, kind of limp out of the conversation early in it, you're never going to get what you're hoping for, or what you want. So you have to be willing to put the time in, put the work in, do the research, have your documents ready. All of that is super critical when it comes to,
save
having
those
a successful
receipts.
negotiation. Save the receipts. Exactly. Save the receipts if you can. On all big purchases, specifically tech devices, I always save receipts because you never know when you're going to need that.
And it's too easy today with our phones. You can just save a PDF folder and just, I mean, come on. We could go on all day. We've been going on all day. I feel like we need to go through our current tool belt objectives on our negotiation skills. This has been just too much fun, Sean. I didn't know this is going to be such a hit, but man, I'm having a ball over here.
I'm pumped. Well, so mine's a pretty quick one for my current objectives. It is really working on my ability to be optimistic for how I want a negotiation to go, but being prepared to walk away. That is an area that I struggle with, because any negotiations that to me are super important, I tend to get so emotionally invested into the product or the experience or whatever it might be, the service, that when the thought of that service disappearing pops into my head, it's like, oh God, maybe I should just do what they say I should do. This really popped up when I bought my car at the dealer. I was so invested in that specific vehicle that it was hard, and luckily I had Kate there to help keep me in control, but to be able to keep it where I was willing to walk away was hard. And I honestly don't even know if in that negotiation I was experiencing that. I needed a car so bad, and just so many different reasons and excuses I kept telling myself. But in reality, I needed to be willing to walk away. And so that is something I need to work on 100%, is not getting too emotionally invested. And this also plays with managing my emotions, not getting too invested in whatever it is, product or service or experience. But yeah, so I'm working on being optimistic on how I want it to go, but being willing to walk away if I'm not getting my minimum. That's another key thing here. Going into negotiations, there's also part of the preparation phase is you need to know what you're shooting for, and you need to know the minimum you're willing to accept,
Yeah.
because you're going to always find somewhere in the middle. The likelihood of getting the golden goose of what exactly you want is going to be hard, right? Um, you have
That
to be willing to
beanstalk is
say,
long, you know, it's
yeah,
hard to get up. You got
like I'm trying to get this, but I'm willing to take this if I can't get it. This is really big if you're working on trying to buy a new car. You know, you can go to the cars company's website and build your dream car, but you have to accept that at some point you're going to have to realize I can't get everything I want here. I need to accept and make my goals realistic, but also okay, if this is the car and it has 90% I'm looking for, am I okay not having a moonroof if it means I get brand new tires? Okay, like certain things like that. Have your goal, have a minimum. But yeah, I need to work on being prepared to walk away.
Oh, I like that, Sean. I have definitely had failures, listeners. I've shared 2 wins that I've had in the last 2 years, but I definitely have also failed in this area, Sean, and specifically with car buying. And you know, I think one of the things I will say to encourage the listeners is I almost walked away on the car that I have now, and I, you know, probably should have. Maybe I should have. I would have saved money in the short term, but I'm still driving my car that I bought that time. So there, you know, I think in terms of I need to do better at being prepared to walk away and actually do it. And I almost did.
Hmm.
My wife was there in this case to say, is it a good car? Do you want to do it like right now? Do you want to have a car now instead of, you know, going back and, you know, continuing on the process? And so that's something I definitely struggle with. And I think, you know, buying for me is very tough from time to time. I'm good at kind of negotiating the terms and really like once I have something locked in, like really going for it. But in terms of setting up a good deal, I still am struggling. Um, my current tool belt objective that I've been working on a lot this year is actually being upfront. And this involves connecting and communication and being confident. And I've noticed that at work specifically, if I'm talking about something, say salary, for instance, or something I want to get out of stature, either promotion or there's various levels of things you may want out of your work. But if the people you are talking with consistently or that are in power of making that happen for you don't even know that you're seeking that, then
Hmm.
it's gonna be tough right away. And so I've really been this year working on the being upfront part of because what the worst that could happen is like they say, whoa, simmer down there, buddy. Like, yeah. But today's what I've found is today's everybody's on the same page. I mean, everybody wants to have more salary or more you know, experience or more, you know, opportunity. It's just, are you actually communicating that or are you not? And if people see that you're willing to communicate, yeah, maybe again, that's a part of the process of connecting. Like maybe it's a little awkward, but the first time, but as you kind of dive into it and continue, I've done it a few times in the last, it just this year, been upfront about various things in my own life at work and then I've shared some tonight about, you know, talking with these people saying this is what I want. And it can be a little bit awkward, but you connect and you say, "Hey, thanks for sharing all this. I really appreciate it. And anything you can do to help me along my way, then you know I am appreciative of that. But this is where I want to be." And you know, Sean, you talked about it. You have the golden goose, you have the minimums, you know, somewhere in between there, you're shooting to land. So, and sometimes you get the golden goose. So why don't we be goose getters and make it happen? So that's my current tool belt objective this year. It's been going pretty good. And I think we can dive through our all-time favorite tools to close out the show here. And mine is actually something I've been doing in terms of preparation and just even real-time prep, because again, there are two types. A lot of negotiations happen on the phone and Zoom, and then additionally in real time, but you can still use the tools to get, for me, writing out what's happening so that I have, like, that's part of the negotiations that's tough for people, is they'll rattle off a lot of details quick. And so don't be afraid to go back. Hey, what was that? I want to have that down for my record, because you want to have a list of things. If you don't get anything out of the negotiation and you come home to wifey with, so what were they wanting to give you? And you're like, I forget, which is very possible, honestly, because when you're in the midst of the negotiation and like your head spinning and it's overwhelming, especially when you're talking about something like salary and big life moves and all that jazz, what was it? Oh, I don't know. That's not going to go over too well. So I like making lists, utilizing notes, cell phone, notepad, physical pen and paper is always a good one. And that has been my all-time bread and butter favorite tool. And I still use them every single day in a lot of aspects of my life. But negotiations is no different. I like having that to go back on and mull over and say, how does that look on paper? How does that sound in my mind? There's something going on there as you're mulling it over and getting ready for the next round. What am I going to say this time? What am I going to counter with? So
I think it is really smart. I, like we even talked before we started recording, I'm thinking about getting a little notebook that I can keep in my pocket so I can get better at practicing this, because it is important to have that stuff written down so that you can reference it. You can use it to talking to your wife, or you're talking to the next service rep and you're like, oh, but this guy said I could get this. So can you do any better? It is important to have that stuff written down.
100%.
Exactly. My all-time favorite tool is something that is just, I think, a fantastic practice to have in your life, because it's incredibly crucial, not just for negotiation, but for successful life, is you need to practice having tough conversations. And I think this is an incredibly important tool, because sometimes negotiations can be difficult. They can be tough. When you're trying to make sure that you're getting what you want, you're representing yourself, your desires, your wishes, your worth. In a lot of these conversations, it can be tough. I mean, I learned the hard way, not putting myself forward and actually saying what I was thinking. I ended up spending a lot of money on something I never ended up using. So, being willing to have the tough conversations and not feel uncomfortable with it. Pushing yourself when someone starts bringing up money. If money is a hot button issue for you and you're like, oh, I don't want to talk about this, you should practice that, because it's going to become really crucial when you are trying to negotiate salaries, or you're trying to say, I'm willing to pay $5 for this apple. That's something you need to do. If you have a hard time talking to people of authority, you're going to have a hard time convincing your boss to give you a promotion if you're not willing to look him in the eye and say, I deserve this. So practicing those tough conversations really leads well into the preparation that we were talking about earlier. Use your spouse, use your significant other, your friends, your family, brother, whatever it is, and say, hey, can I practice some of these conversations with you? I've been doing it with my mom. I have a job interview next week, and I've been practicing
Hey,
some of the things, practicing some of these conversations with her. And, she's been a fantastic sounding board of saying, yeah, but what if they ask this question? Oh crap.
that's great.
I didn't prep an answer for that. What if they ask this? Are you willing to cave on this if they're willing to give you this? And it's been very helpful to sit down and talk with her. So, yeah,
Awesome.
all-time favorite tool, practice, 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 having tough conversations. Step outside your comfort zone, put yourself in some uncomfortable situations, and learn how to get through those conversations, and you will be a successful negotiator.
Wow. Oh man. Shout out to Mrs. Bennett. Great work. Sean, killing it as always. This has been an absolute blast tonight to walk through our negotiation tools. This is going to conclude our soft skills series for the Q1. We'll probably come back at some other point in time, but listeners, we hope you've enjoyed this episode tonight. and you found value in it. Sean and I are always wanting to provide value in our podcast, on our platform, what we're doing here on the How to Hobby podcast. And we hope this episode was no different for you. And Sean, great work as always. Good luck on the job interview, and congratulations on the milestone in your own life. It's been amazing to see you continue to pick you and do things for yourself, continue to push in your exercise and nutritional journey and push the dial forward. You're living the How to Hobby podcast way right up front, and it's really fun to see. So thanks and hats off to you. Send Sean some congrats and kudos on Strava and on the app. And please, follow us, share us if you found value out of this segment tonight. This has been the How to Hobby Boys. You know where to find us, wherever you stream us on your platform. We'll come at you live every single Friday morning. This week is no different, and we hope you enjoyed it. You know where to catch us next time at the How to Hobby podcast.